East Lothian sits to the south of the Firth of Forth between Scotland's capital city, Edinburgh, and Berwickshire to the southeast. Known as Haddingtonshire until 1921, this county is perhaps best known for its beautiful scenery, beaches and its collection of historic small towns and villages. What's less known is that this county has national historical significance too. For in the small village of Athelstaneford, which is also pronounced Alshanford, and which is home to around 650 residents, there's a remarkable monument. It's a monument to Scotland's flag, arguably the world's oldest national flag. The Saltire, or St Andrew's Cross, Scotland's national flag, originates from 832 AD. Legend has it that the army of Angus MacFergus, High King of Alba, was being pursued by a larger force of Angles and Saxons led by Athelstan, when the Scots stood to face the enemy near East Linton. Fearing that the encounter might not go their way, King Angus led prayers for deliverance. He was rewarded by seeing a cloud formation of the white saltire against the blue sky. The saltire is a diagonal cross on which St Andrew had been martyred. The king vowed that if, with the saints' help, he gained victory in the ensuing battle, then Andrew would, thereafter, be the patron saint of Scotland. Some 11 years later, when Kenneth MacAlpin, king of the Scots whose kingdom was centred in Argyll and Bute, also became king of the Picts, he named the whole entity, Scotland, and Andrew did indeed become the patron saint of the United Realm. Some historians claim that Denmark's flag is the world's oldest. It dates from the Battle of Lindesnes in 1219, some 387 years after the birth of Scotland's flag. The confusion arises as to whether Scotland was officially a country when Kenneth MacAlpin united the Picts and the Scots in 843 AD, and whether the flag was just a banner used in battle rather than a national emblem. Some historians believe that the nation of Scotland was officially founded following the 1320 Declaration of Arbroath, when Rome was asked to recognise Scotland as an independent country, under Robert the Bruce as its king, which it did. Nevertheless, victory at the Battle of Bannockburn 7 years earlier proved the Scots had regained control of their kingdom from its troublesome neighbour to the south, England, which became a unified country in 927, 84 years after Scotland, so arguably Scotland was already very much a country and almost certainly had been since 843 AD, making the saltire the world's oldest national flag. Before then, like Scotland, England had been made up of smaller kingdoms. The Saltire Memorial was first constructed in 1965 in the grounds of Athelstaneford Kirk. As chairman of the Flag Heritage Trust David Williamson explains, before that there was nothing to commemorate the history of Scotland's flag.
In the beginning, there was no Scottish Flag Trust. There was a St Andrew Society in Edinburgh, which had existed for 100 years. And the St Andrew Society took an interest in this historic site, and they installed floodlighting. That was their first initiative, floodlighting at the memorial. And at that time, the St Andrew Society founded the Scottish Flag Trust to look after the floodlighting. And from there, the trust grew to look after the memorial and subsequently to initiate and maintain and be responsible for this heritage centre.
The Scottish Flag Trust was set up in 1984, and 13 years later, the Heritage Centre was opened. The Flag Heritage Centre is housed in a small 16th century ducat at the rear of the kirk, and looks out over the site of where the 9th century battle took place. The ducat was built in 1583 by George Hepburn and restored in 1996. Once common in Scotland, ducats are now rapidly disappearing from the Scottish countryside. They were built for pigeons, which were once a highly desirable addition to the winter diet, at a time when fresh meat was not readily available. Back in the day, a ducat played the role of a modern domestic freezer, only much larger. The Athelstaneford ducat is one of the earliest surviving Scottish examples from the 16th century. It now serves as the Scottish Flag Trust Heritage Centre.
Well, we already had on the site a Saltire memorial at the front of the kirkyard, and it was felt we needed something more for visitors to learn more about the story. And the only premises or facility we could think of was to convert this 16th century ducat into a heritage centre.
The audio-visual presentation in this unique venue has allowed this small heritage centre to become a Visit Scotland 4-star tourist attraction. And just like the legend of old, a Saltire cloud appears above, on a sky background, allowing visitors to experience something of what King Angus saw so many centuries before. So, how many visitors does the centre attract each year, and where from?
Well, because this is a free facility, we don't therefore have ticket stubs and able to have an accurate count of visitors. We had and still have a line of sight that people broke when they came into the ducat, but they broke when they went out again, and that allowed us to make an estimate of visitors. And we reckoned it went up to around 5,000 a year. The COVID undoubtedly was a major knockback to all visitor attractions. And we're a 4-star visitor attraction, and our visitor numbers plummeted, and we're only now getting back up into the thousands. So where the visitors come, we have a visitors book here, and we're able to ascertain the people who sign the book, where they're from, and we get a very high proportion of people from overseas. From North America is the biggest overseas visitors, but also from Europe, and we get people from all over Scotland and from England as well. People who come to East Lothian on holiday, this is one of the attractions in East Lothian, and many people are intrigued to know what the Flag Heritage Centre is, and we're delighted to have them. But to give you an example of how difficult it is, during the summer we occasionally get bus trips come in, and the bus will disgorge 30 people, and they'll come out and they'll wander around the site and in the ducat, and then they'll go away again after half an hour. But in some cases, none of them have signed the visitors book, which is, But in other cases, you get a carload of 4 people coming in, and they'll all sign the visitors book. So it's very hard to be precise. But all the comments that we receive are all incredibly favourable. Most people come and they think they didn't know what to expect, and then they come here, they are genuinely really quite thrilled, and especially those from overseas who have a Scottish connection. They find this a very inspiring place to come to.
So, what inspired David Williamson to become involved with the Scottish Flag Trust?
As for my personal involvement, I was a member of the St Andrew Society, and Alan McCartney, the founder, and myself were standing in Athelstaneford Main Street one day and wondering what we could do, and we stood and looked at the ruined ducat and thought, could we make a project out of this? What do you think? So Alan handed it over to me and said, see what you can do, Dave. And so I started the process of the fundraising that was needed, and been involved ever since.
The Trust is a registered Scottish charity, and there are 8 trustees, all of whom are volunteers. The Heritage Centre and Saltire Monument at Athelstaneford is unique, says David Williamson.
This is a unique site here in Athelstaneford. No other country I'm aware of has the actual site of the birthplace of its flag. And so, because of the St Andrew Society's interest in the flag, and suddenly having a site that associated with the flag and with St Andrew, it was perfect for our growing involvement in it.
The St Andrew's Society of Edinburgh pioneered the founding of the Scottish Flag Trust. Today, St Andrew's societies around the world help to support the Saltire Monument and Visitor Centre alongside visitor donations and funding applications to funders such as the Heritage Lottery Fund.
Well, our connection to the World Project is our connection really to St Andrews and Caledonian societies across the world, most of which are in former English-speaking areas, North America, Australia, New Zealand in particular. North America the most of all. There are a great number of St Andrew societies in all these countries, and indeed in other countries across the world, almost all formed by expatriate Scots who've gone to live in these countries, and they maintain Scottish connection through that. Part of our fundraising for our renovation of the site here in Athelstaneford has involved going to these St Andrew societies. And one of the inducements, if you like, was that when we were trying to, the third project, the one that's going to start hopefully next year, will be the renovation of the memorial itself and the setting of the memorial. And the landscape concept that has been drawn up by our consultants has a large circular globe of the world in the paving beneath the restored memorial. And the intent is to put in the world map all the St Andrew societies who've contributed to the project. So it gives them a sense of connection with their heritage and the founding of the Saltire.
So what are the timescales for work on the first phase of the project, the restoration of the Saltire Monument?
Project completion is a very tricky one. We've just gone through 2 of 4 phases of renovation and renewal here in Athelstaneford. The Ducat was the first one, 2022, cost almost £100,000. The one that's about to start in May this year is the path upgrading with the historical timeline. That's costing £120,000. Each of these projects has been preceded by a major fundraising drive. So in terms of what happens for the 2 remaining ones, one of which is the memorial, and the last one will be a total revamp of the audiovisual presentation within the Heritage Centre here, which will move to a fully digital platform, which will give us quite a number of extra ways of showing things to visitors. The fundraising starts this summer, so we're bidding to the National Heritage Lottery Fund and other bodies, but with every one of our projects, we can't even begin to start giving a timescale until we start money being attracted. Our hope is that as we do each project and the site becomes more and more attractive, more and more funding bodies are persuaded that this is a good project, it is a unique site in Scotland, a unique project worth supporting. So each project that's completed gives us an extra boost to getting the next set of monies in. We would like to think the Heritage Centre will be 2025-26.
There are 2 flagpoles at the Athelstaneford site on which saltires are flown permanently, one at the Saltire Memorial close to Main Street which is floodlit at night, and the other, an 8-foot-long pennant saltire, which is flown next to the Heritage Centre. When these flags begin to show signs of wear and tear, they are replaced. Depending on the weather, flags can last for about 6 months. In recent years, public interest has grown in acquiring saltires that have been flown at the historic Athelstaneford site, and the Trust is happy to meet this demand. The sale of these flags helps to raise much needed funds for the maintenance of the Saltire Memorial and Flag Heritage Centre. There is no set price, but interested parties are asked to make a donation. These have been in the range of £25 to £50 per flag. And there is a waiting list. There are many versions of blue used in the saltire, so the Scottish Flag Trust, in conjunction with the Heraldry Society of Scotland and the Saltire Society, drew up a flag code. This was submitted to the Scottish Parliament, and though the code has no legal status, it was accepted by the Parliament as general guidance. In terms of colour, the blue field of the Saltire should be a bright azure, in harmony with the legend, but not pale or weak. The code states that the field of the flag should be blue and of a hue compatible with Pantone 300U. Another little-known fact is that, since 1989, the Saltire has also been adopted as the flag of Tenerife. But to most people around the world, the Saltire represents Scotland, first and foremost. It remains forever the proud symbol of the Scots nation. For more information about the Scottish Flag Trust, visit their website at scottishflagtrust.com.